Vậy thôi, có một cái video class, the main thing. Alright, does it be it? Any problem? A question? Question? Problem before we really start? It's alright. Okay. Yeah. Remember to download for the PowerPoint slide. Remember to download for this week. Practice data. We will do with that one several. Okay. Some of the extra material I show you some kinds about dirty data. What could be the main thing of that one? How it could be inconsistent or incomplete, something. Okay, the data, something like that. Okay. You can read, take a look into, and see about the detail. For the other Excel formula and cheat sheet, if you want to see, it's very long, 108 pages, but it's useful. Okay. Finally, the two video I provided. Okay. Just don't miss it. Remember to download this one. Okay, let's go straight forward into the today's section. Data cleaning. Actually, I would say the data cleaning will be good. If not data cleaning, so that could be data preparation integration. So in the previous class, we learned about database, right? The way for us to collect the data, the way for us to store the data. The thing could be like when we have the data, it's actually when we have a lot of data from different resources. Would be a big question about how we can integrate them. That means we can sum all the data from different sources into one single data set, for example. And that will make a lot of trouble. Later in the class, I will show you what will be the main trouble we have with the data integration or data merge. But because that we come from a lot of big data, they are often disorganized and overwhelmed like run up. And because that in the database analytic process, we will have to get and move, replicate, integrate a large amount of data between the warehouse, between the database, between analytical environment or data mart, data lake, something. So that generate a lot of trouble in your data. And this could be the time for us. One of the main part of data analytics had to be sorted in. You end up to or opt out, but like you have no choice to not prepare the data. For something, the people say data cleaning or data preparation is a must, even when it's the most consuming time. It could be the least enjoyable work and but it's super very crucial. And like I say, it's a must. Um, According to one of the reasons, what the people say, the recent report from the IBM, that's one of the leading computing organization in in the US. So they estimate that approximate $3,100 billion, or you say $3.1 trillion each year has been wasted due to the bad quality data. Of course, the people normally have the word say gap it in, gap it out. That means if you have the good data to put into the model, you have the very good outcome. Maybe sometimes not, but most of the time, basically you had a good outcome of the decision making. However, if your data is not well prepared, if your data is not have a good form, a good fit of qualities, you sure that with a lot of trouble in the data, you have a lot of trouble in the outcome, and you make wrong, bad decision making. Okay, so that could be the thing I would say. Like main of most of the time, we will have to do with the data cleaning and data preparation. It's going to be due to some of the problem. So maybe the data will contain the discrepancies in name, codes, column, primary keys or foreign keys in the data set, or it may contain the outlier or the error. This can be lack of the attribute or interest of analysis, or sometimes it's so abundant. There are too many irrelevant or not necessary attribute or variable in the data, or sometimes the data set in are qualitative but just quantitative, okay? All the things like that is make your data become very hard to analyze. Or even when you can analyze it, you cannot get the big picture or a full picture about the business context and the requirement. Okay, so would be the thing we have to go for today. We say about why it generate for data integration and why it make a lot of trouble with the data error when people merge the data. Data cleaning, what would be the main part? Okay, we would deal with missing data, we would deal with the noisy or inconsistent data, we would deal with the complicated data, and we talk about one of the main things we would very care about data selection, for example, data sampling. Okay, that could be it. Okay. Hồi học BRM hay học môn thesis, mọi người gặp khó khăn trong giai đoạn nào nhất của thesis? Nên ở đây ai chia sẻ được không? Hồi đó thấy khó nhất là đoạn nào? Tiếp đến. Hello, nghe thầy nói gì không? Nãy giờ có nghe thầy nói gì không? Hello,
Dạ có thầy.
Dạ có.
nói chia sẻ vui vẻ đi chứ học thesis đoạn thesis mình làm khó, thấy khó nhất đoạn 1.
Em thấy cái đoạn cleaning data á thầy.
Lenin Việt Nam gặp data khó khăn, chia sẻ xíu được không?
Dạ tại vì cứ chạy ra cái kết quả nó không như mình mong muốn á thầy, cứ phải đi lọc lại data, rồi phải chạy lại, cứ làm đi làm lại miết trong vòng mấy ngày nữa kìa.
Theo mọi người nghĩ là làm như vậy có nên không?
Dạ em nghĩ là không nên lắm, nhưng mà tại vì
Thì tất nhiên là thôi tới giờ trừ hết giờ rồi đúng không?
dạ
Thu thập được chừng đó data rồi thì cho lo làm sao lo chạy ra được cái model để nộp bài chứ đúng không? Thầy hiểu chuyện đó. Thông thường thì với ví dụ như trong business analytics thật, gặp những cái vấn đề về business thật, chuyện mà bỏ data này, bỏ cái nhóm data này rồi chọn cái nhóm data khác để làm cho ra kết quả như mình mong muốn là cái rất sai. Thầy nói thiệt, nó nằm trong phần thầy có nói là data ethics và data integrity. Nhưng mà thôi nói ngắn gọn lại là mọi người hình dung khi làm một doanh nghiệp, bạn gặp data, có thể kết quả bạn đang mong chờ là mình muốn chứng minh nữ mua hàng nhiều hơn nam, giả sử như thế. Cho cái công ty về retail của mình công ty retailing mà, giả sử mà sau này mọi người làm dễ làm retailing lắm. Thế thì bạn bạn luôn có cái prejudice hoặc là cái intuition của các bạn đó là nữ thì sẽ mua hàng nhiều hơn nam về những sản phẩm về đồ ăn thức uống chẳng hạn, và đồ ăn trong bếp chẳng hạn. Và bạn khi bạn chọn data vì bạn cảm thấy là hình như có một số cái nhóm data mà có của nam á, có vẻ nó kỳ, nhìn nó vẻ không đúng, mình nên vứt nó đi. Và sau cái đó mình chạy nếu như mà dữ liệu mà có cái data của mấy người nam nó vô thì dữ liệu nó không đúng, có nó chứng minh là nam mua hàng nhiều hơn nữ, chứ không phải nữ nhiều hơn nam luôn. Thế thì mình mới quyết định là thôi mình bỏ bớt một số data của nam ra, rồi mình report lại và mình thấy kết quả rằng là, hình như sau khi bỏ data của nam ra mình gật gù là kêu, có vẻ là như là nữ mua nhiều đồ nhiều hơn nam thật. That's not right, it's not the good manner to do, 'cause in term of data, you have to keep the thing original. Even when maybe the outcome would be not that way to you, or maybe just because that you didn't do the analysis in depth. That means you can go further with more in-depth analysis, with more ad hoc analysis that can tell you the true story. And maybe the way like you try to manipulate the data, you try to just delete some of the data, you think that can help you for data cleaning, but actually it could be like it will influence the kind of like final result of the data. So try to avoid it. Today we say about data cleaning and the same thing you have done with the SBS class, right? Sometimes when you send out for all the question and you found like there's some very stupid answer, something like, what about your weight? And they say, I'm about 10 centimeters. Okay, you know that there's be some mistake about when the people fill in the information or something, or they just make joke, and you know that will be the problem. So you clean that one. That's very different to the way you manipulate the data. All right. So that's the main thing we want to just do it today. But anyway, let us say about we have to confess that what will be the thing take most of the time of doing. So according to one of the report, it say like it should take 3% for training the model, maybe like 4% for refining the algorithm. Algorithm will be the main methods you do for analysis. Later, you learn about regression model, you learn about SEM model, you learn about like what PCA or something, right? Something like that. Cronbach alpha, that's be the algorithm of data cleaning. But that's just refined for 4%. And 60%, or I would say, like in our work with the data scientist or data analyst in my fields, it takes like 70% or even 75% of most of the time we work with the data. So it's super important. And we will have to say why. The first thing comes from data silo. Silo means the data is isolated from the other in the system. It's access when the data isolated in a separated information system. What does it mean? Okay, think about your company, right? In general, you have the different department or different sector. And when you send out a report, for example, this is the reason why. This is the reason why people will normally have the trouble with. Okay, so most of the time you work with just a data set like Excel, right? And you think like, okay, if you have a good Excel files to store the data, you can send it into your boss. That's good manner. The thing could be like, it's not just only you send for one boss. You will send it into the different department. You send it into the CEO, you send it into the CFO, you send it into the CMO, the CTO, you send it for the finance department, you send it for the marketing department, and you send it for the manufacturing department. Here would be the thing. After to send out the Excel file to all of them, and they receive it, each of them will update their old data into that Excel file, right? The marketing guy, they update some information about marketing into that Excel file. The finance guy will do the same, update some financial ratio, some accounting record into the Excel file. And the same thing with manufacturing, with sales, with other department, with the HDR, sorry, the HRM, the Human Resources Management Department. So all of them will have from the same original data file. Each of them update their old record into the data file they have, and they develop for the different new data file. That would be fine if the thing will be just keep isolated like that way. The thing will be when after everybody gathered together in a same meeting, the finance guy will say about something very different to the marketing guy, and that different to the story of the manufacturing guy, just simply because they update the data in the different silo. Okay, they update the data in the different way, and they never just go together. Okay, so that will be the thing. The problem of information silo come from when the data is totally separated from each other, even when they can be originated from the same primary data. But later, the data is isolated and they develop in a different way. Let's happen and do it when we have the data duplicated, data inconsistency isolated. It's back into the lack of integrated enterprise information. And of course, the result could be very low decision making. Okay. Ok, đó là lý do vì sao mà mọi người học ở cái chương trước chúng ta học về database. Được chưa? Cái database nó sẽ giải quyết được rất nhiều vấn đề. mà nếu như chúng ta không có database. Mọi người tưởng tượng nếu chúng ta chỉ giải quyết tất cả các vấn đề bằng những cái file gì mọi người? File Excel, đúng không? Thì file Excel thì thường bây giờ thì có một cái phương án đó là dùng Google Drive hoặc là các dạng như Cloud-based Computing Data chẳng hạn, mọi người cùng share chung một cái bảng chung, mọi người sửa data trên đó, trên cùng một cái bảng chung. Tuy nhiên, cái điều này sẽ rất bất lợi khi mà cùng một cái bảng đó mà rất nhiều cái tổ chức, ví dụ như thầy nói phòng marketing, phòng finance, phòng human resources, phòng manufacturing họ dùng chung một cái bảng, mà họ sửa theo từng ý của từng phòng ban. Thì phương án một, họ tự down từng cái bảng đó về, họ lưu ở trong máy của họ, họ sửa cái bảng Excel đó. Thì cái bảng Excel đó dần dần nó sẽ phát triển theo cái hướng mà họ muốn. Nhưng mà ngược lại, chưa chắc đó là cái hướng mà những cái nhóm, những cái phòng ban khác họ muốn, và nó làm ra cái data silo. Phương án 2 là họ cùng sửa trên cái data file trên cloud đó, thì có một cái nhược điểm là gì? Lỡ ví dụ một người nào đó đang lúc sửa trên cái data file đó mà họ xóa bớt dữ liệu, hoặc là họ lầm lỗi gì đó trên cái data file đó là that's done, make the thing mess up. Okay? So that's the reason why the people say about database will be some of the solution about data silo. And also some kinds of problem associated with that. So the people, okay, one more time, this will be just one thing about demonstration between the interaction of the sales marketing department and the accounting. Okay, so if they do it for some of the thing make for the data silo, this will make some kind of like limited information or lack of integrated information. And then this make a lot of problem about how you can validate the data when you transfer the data from one into the another one. So to solve this problem about data silos, you will hear some kinds of system about information system and the database organization to just try to solve this problem. CRM, ERP, or EAI. This be some of the main methods for people to deal with the data silo. Basically, this is the same with the way for you to just organize the database or a data warehouse, okay? And I can make it a little bit bigger for you to see, okay? But basically, you can go home and read about the difference between the CRM, the customer relationship management system, the enterprise resource planning system, and the enterprise application integration system. They have some kinds of different. Basically, the first two, the CRM and the ERP, that could be the system of a centralized database. That means when you interact with different departments, you have the accounting, you have human resources, you have the kind of like financing, manufacturing, sales, marketing, customer support, or even like the CRM, the customer relationship management system. They will save all the data inside of our ERP database look like this. Normally they with us now, the people do it with the ERP cloud. That means that should be cloud computing, say the thing in not just a physical database, but like for a cloud database. The CRM about customer relationship, right? If you say customer relationship, you think more about what sell, right? About the customer support, about the marketing, okay? And actually, the ERP, most of the ERP, they including the CRM database too. They have all the function of the CRM. So ERP, most of the time now we would say about the ERP solution. You would say about SAP, you would say about Oracle. That should be some of the solution for ERP database system. But we will, and most of the case now, most of the organization in Vietnam, we are trying to transform into the ERP. Okay. ERP là một trong những cái hệ thống mà hiện tại gần như là nếu các bạn làm các ngành về e-commerce hoặc làm các ngành về information system á, thì bạn sẽ cố gắng các công ty ở Việt Nam hiện tại đều đang chuyển hướng và làm hệ thống ERP. Thì, miệng mình thì cũng đang cố nhưng mà thật sự thì theo thầy trên phương diện quan điểm của thầy thì thầy thấy là cũng vẫn chưa được. Còn ERP mà muốn nó làm được thì nó sẽ phải đầu tư nhiều hơn, thế rất là nhiều. So the thing will be like from the traditional data silos problem into the ERP database, it takes a lot of disruption and require for a well-equipped resources and equipment. So they do have another method to just solve the problem, would be EAI. So EAI will be enterprise application, and that's just a suite beside of a data. That's just a suite of software application. So they not really run it for a database, a cloud database. They will try to communicate with a metadata instead. But that would be a decentralized. That's not centralized, but decentralized data with a kind of parallel system of the metadata. And when they work together of the different department, I would say, they will sum up all the data up into the EAI server and say them in the metadata. So the people normally say that's going to be less disrupted to convert to the EAI system. And then later you move up into the ERP. That's be the better solution. Okay. Thì thông thường cái thật sự mà hiện tại giống như ở phần lớn các công ty Việt Nam, the most of them, thầy nghĩ là người ta đang dừng ở mức EAI nhiều hơn. Tức là chúng ta đang cố gắng tạo ra một cái hệ thống mà các bạn tưởng tượng là cái phòng CRM, phòng chăm sóc khách hàng này, phòng quan hệ khách hàng này, phòng manufacturing, phòng accounting, phòng human resources. Thì chúng ta có những cái data khác nhau và chúng ta cố gắng đưa nó lên trong cùng một cái hệ thống, một cái suite of application. Thường là các web, gọi là gọi là ờ, not application mà là web app, một cái web app. Và giống như ở viện mình thì người ta dùng một cái gọi là base.vn, thì đó là một cái hệ thống mà họ gom tất cả những cái phòng ban này lại vào trong một cái platform này. Và cái platform này nó link với lại một cái hệ thống metadata, thế thôi. Thì từ đây mấy năm nữa mình mới lên được cái ERP. Thì đó là cái thực trạng hiện nay đang ở Việt Nam để mà mọi người muốn biết thêm. Okay, so this will be the thing. You do it for data integration. Thinking about like when you come from the different data, okay, you get the data from different database. What you gotta have to do just for analysis, you have to merge the data, right? Merge means you make all the data go together in the same spreadsheet, and this will be the trouble. So when you merge the data, you have two ways, horizontal and the vertical data integration. And it's the way of that introduce the different problem. So merging of the data will make problem. What does it mean? Okay, let me give you an example of the two way. The first way will be for horizontal integration. The second way will be for vertical integration. Okay. Now let's say and give you example. First of all, we say about the data integration horizontal. So I would say I have two different data, right? Different table. Later you will learn in the you already learned it in the merge of the SQL part. The SQL part have some kind the people say data merge, and I post it into the video too. So you will have some part about the second group assignment. You will learn about data integration a little bit, but this could be how it works for data merge. So for example, you have a two table. The first table have the three attribute ID, right? Age, status. The second one have the ID, balance, and status. The two data have the IDs, okay? I would say this would be the primary keys, and this would be the foreign key or primary keys of the second table will be the same. The thing will be like we try to merge this data together, okay? For example, we want to just all of them merge into one single data, but two data together. Okay. So this would be what the people calls horizontal data integration. So how we can do that? we see, okay, for the ID number 1 in the second table, we don't have the ID number 1, but we have data number 2, ID number 2, right? And ID number 4. So this will be what happened when we try to merge together the two data. The first data will be keep it. The second data will be trying to be complementary sources for the original data. So here we have the IDs 2 and 4. Okay. We second table don't have the A, so we keep the same with the first data table A attribute. We have the same status, right? And we have the same balance. We don't have the balance in the first data, but the second data set. So the thing will be like I will have to create for the second table. The third table, that will be have a new attribute balance. That originated from the first table. And then merge some information about the balance. Let's see. ID number 1, we don't have any information, right? So for balance, it could be keep blank. ID number 2, okay, see, the balance could be 3,000. So 3,000 could be copied into the ID number 2, right? And the thing will be like, even when the first table didn't have the status of the ID number 2, the ID number 2 had the status in the table 2, and status could be gold. Okay, so it can integrate it and complement the data over here for gold. Next, number 4. The balance could be 4,000. I can copy it here. And the status could be silver. Oh, what's wrong with this one? So it looked like here, right? Now, the data in the original table gold is say like number 4 should be gold. Okay, number 4 should be say that could be gold, but the actual it should be silver. So they will update this data over here instead of gold to be silver. And number 4, fine, we don't have that data. So we have the new table, okay, with border and
Dạ thầy ơi,
the thickness. Okay,
nãy
yep,
chưa thầy có share màn hình không thầy?
để xem màn hình mà.
Tụi em không thấy chưa hết cái thầy.
Đúng không
Ý
đó?
là em vẫn thấy.
Nó
Okay,
hỏi
let's
em vẫn thấy.
để thầy tắt lại, thầy share lại lần nữa hay. Okay. Mọi người nhìn thấy không?
Dạ có.
Dạ cho em mới thấy thầy.
Ok. Rồi hồi nãy giờ thầy nói về chuyện là liên quan tới chuyện là integrate hai cái database này, hai cái data table này lại. Thì thôi thì lỡ ví dụ như mà đứa nào chưa thấy được thì ráng coi lại hay. Với lại xong thì nó sẽ lưu, thầy nghĩ là nó sẽ lưu. Ok. Alright. Let's continue. So we say when we do for the horizontal data merge, you can see that the two data has been merged right into the bigger table. The thing will be like they make some trouble about these two data. Why the first data just have a one plan, the second data table just have then no plan. When we merge two data together, or we say integrating data together, now have too many blank space, or not available space, or missing value space. Mọi người hình dung được không? Thì data nếu như ban đầu có thể là những cái table này đi riêng với nhau tách thành database thì nó không có lỗi. Nhưng mà khi gom cái data lại thành một cái table lớn thì mọi người sẽ thấy là thiếu rất nhiều data. Cái chuyện này nó cũng giống như một lần mọi người đã từng trải nghiệm trong mấy môn như là FBA không? FBA khi mà mọi người chép data từ cái dữ liệu của nhiều nguồn dữ liệu khác nhau á, hoặc là mọi người gom dữ liệu của Workbench á, thì có lúc cái dữ liệu liên quan tới GDP á, thì nó full từ năm 1960 tới năm 2020 chẳng hạn. Nhưng mà tới những dữ liệu khác, ví dụ như là về unemployment rate thì không đủ, nó chỉ có dữ liệu từ năm 1990 trở lại đây thôi. Và nó làm ra rất nhiều data plan of missing value data. Và đó là vấn đề của chuyện mà data mình merge lại với nhau. Okay. The same thing we can do with the highlight vertical data update. And what does it mean? Now, let's say with another two kind of like upper and lower data. And when we try to merge two data together, we can create for the new one. All right. The new one have no new status. Oh, we do have the new status. So the second data table, we had the balance. All right. That's new attribute. And they have the ID number 6 and 7. So beside of ID 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 from the first table, we have the new 2 data. The balance for them can be copied over here. The status silver and gold can be copied over here. But this could be it. For the new data set, when we immerse like this way, we'll still have a lot of data missing. Can you see it? All right. So this will be the trouble of merging the data between the different formats, different table, and that's make into the problem. So here will be the thing. The data has been generated by you make the data integration. The thing will be like you have to understand about that trouble. You have to know that what could be the mistake, what could be the error, what will be the problem behind the data, and how we can solve it, right? So this will be very important for you to, first of all, understand about the data before you really go and prepare the data. So that's the point. That will be the point. So we have to understand about general information of the data. Would be like how many attributes it have. Okay, attribute mean what? The number of variable. Okay, for example here, how many variable we have in total. All right. Second, what will be the characteristic of that attribute? You have to know that this attribute will be like categorical data, or that could be just quantitative. All right, that will be number, or that will be day, time. So this is the thing you have to understand about the formats of the data too. Okay, the number, term, something like that is super important. And only when you understand about your data, you'll be ready for data preparation and pre-processing. So the thing we deal with will be like cleaning, selects, reduction about the attributes, integration, and data transform. Or even when data transform will be not covered in this lecture, we will do it some in the later lectures of the data visualization part and the data mining part. It's okay, so don't worry. So this could be the data cleaning. So data cleaning will refer to the action that you try to solve all the quality issues of the data, like missing data, inconsistent data, or duplicated data. Later in this chapter, you will learn about each types of the data problem, how we solve for that kinds of problem. But basically, some of the problem will come from like the typo, impossible values, okay, or some specs or symbol include in your data. You have to clean it out all, okay? If not, that lead into the low cost of qualities. And this will be why we say about cost of low quality dollar. This has been kind of like this data, I mean like this screenshot could be cut out from the Google Data Analytics course. And they say like just this cost in the US only were $3,100 billion. That's a loss of zero, right? That's costly. Remember, all the US GDP is just 24,000. There's 3,100 just because of the cost of low quality data. And we sure that is a lot of trouble with us too. Okay. Nói câu chuyện liên quan tới Data Analytics à? Thầy có kể chuyện về công ty của thầy chứ? Hoặc là những cái chuyện liên quan tới tới low quality data hoặc là no data. Thì cái data của bọn thầy thì chia sẻ một cái tiếng Việt nên nói tiếng Việt xíu cho vui, để nghe cho vui xíu. Hồi năm 2022 vào thời điểm tháng 5, mọi người nào biết thời điểm tháng 5 năm 2022 giá xăng bao nhiêu một lít không? Nhiều biết giá xăng lúc đó bao nhiêu lít không? Ai nhớ không?
14, 15 rồi.
2022 và 14, 15. Đấy, mấy đứa nhớ không? Thời điểm nó đi ra đường chạy đổ mấy bao nhiêu nghìn một lít xăng không? 33.000 đúng rồi đó. Lúc đó thầy nhớ là hôm đó giá xăng vừa mới điều chỉnh xong 30.000, 31.000, 30.800 nhé. Lít xăng thời đó là xăng 95 á, hay 95. Năm ngoái này chứ đâu. Cùng ngày hôm đó ở trên công ty thầy báo là thất thoát xăng ở trên một cái trạm xăng ở phía nam Hải Vân, là cái đường tránh mà đi từ Tuy Loan đi lên trên tới Hải Vân. Thì có một cái cây xăng của bọn thầy vậy đó, thì thông báo là bị thất thoát 140 khối xăng. Mọi người biết 140 khối xăng là bao nhiêu tiền? 33.000 chưa? Nhân với lại 140, một khối là 1.000 lít. 3 chữ số zero hệ 6 số zero hệ tương đương với lại chữ này tiền. Thì lúc đó thì bọn thầy mới nghe, thầy đang ở trên công ty thì mới nghe là ở trên thùng xăng ở trên Nam Hải vẫn bị thất thoát vì bị lũng thùng xăng. Giám đốc với lại thầy chạy lên giống như kiểu như là tức ơi là tức luôn, vì đâu tự nhiên cái mất tầm 100 mấy chục khối xăng mà khổng lồ lắm. Mọi người tưởng tượng một cái xe bồn xăng bình thường là chỉ có 26 khối thôi, là xe bồn to đó, còn lại xe bồn nhỏ khoảng 10 khối, là tưởng tượng 140 khối xăng là to cỡ mười mấy cái xe rồi đó. Mà ở dưới một cây xăng nó thường sẽ có một cái, những cái gọi là cái hầm xăng, mỗi hầm xăng như thế khoảng tầm 200 khối đến 300 khối. Thì cái khối xăng dần từ lúc đó thầy bị bể trong, theo báo cáo là bị lũng bể bồn xăng bị thấm và tràn vào trong nước, tràn vào trong đất. Tuy nhiên là khi mà thầy kêu hiện trường xuống họ kiểm tra thì họ kiểm tra về đất, vì nếu như mà xăng mà bị thấm vào đất là phải rất cẩn thận, nếu không sẽ bị nhiễm chì, nó sẽ ảnh hưởng tới, thứ nhất là sức khỏe người xung quanh đó, nguồn nước này, thứ hai nữa là gieo trồng và lâu dài là có thể là nhiễm độc chì xuống dưới đất. Cho nên bọn thầy phải kêu người xuống kiểm tra, không thấy thấm xăng vô trong đất. Như vậy chừng đó xăng nó chứng tỏ rằng là cái bể xăng này nó, theo kết luận cuối cùng, theo thầy và giám đốc nói thẳng nhau là không phải là bị bể thùng xăng, mà thùng xăng bị đục sau khi xăng đã thất thoát. Xăng đã đi đâu rồi? And that's the problem. That's the problem about missing data. So after that, we decided to make some kinds of data transformation about how to collect the data, make the data collection, make the data integration. The main reason behind our mistake were that we didn't have the data from inventory. Okay, let's say about the tune of the gasoline. So later we do all the sensor, we try to equip the thing to just keep in track into how much could be the inventory left in each of the gasoline tune. Okay, that should be the outcome of everything together. So that we say that just us, right? About that's the cost of low quality data. It's not low quality data, sorry. Okay. The low cost of the quality, the cost of that one. When we miss data, that costs us approximately $4,600,000,000. Okay, we know that that's all the thing from the trick of the heads of that gas station, but we never can see the evidence. So that should be the thing, and that's happened with not just us, but with Google, with Amazon, with Walmart, with us like Winmart, Winfast. All of the organization had the same problem. So that's why the people will be have to deal with a lot about data cleaning. Okay, so this will be the thing. We store the data from import, export the data. We merge the data together. We see it has the missing, so we have to review the missing data. We validate, verify the data, we remove the duplicate, and we standardize and normalize the data. That's all the thing we do in the thing we call data cleaning circle. So that's say about the main thing of today. Okay, what will be the types of dirty data? That means the data with low quality. The data can have duplicated data. That means, for example, in the 2 round of data, okay, in the 2 round of data, you can have, for example, this could be one of the example I provided you guys. In this data set, right, in the round number 2, okay, you see that this the IDs of something about 12 Lay's colonels and all the information, and they from China. That's a corporate member. This is a data set. And if you see it's the same with a next one, right? Right over here, I see they both had the same member ID. They both had the same information. They totally the same, right? These 2 data set, they are the 2 data around, they are totally the same. So that's what we say duplicated data. The thing will be like, if you not keep them separated, if you keep them separated, if you keep them duplicated, when you count and for example, the computer, when they count about the due amount, it should be 1,000 instead of 5,000 in actual, right? So that will be one of the trouble. Data duplication will be some of the problem. Outdated data, that's happened when the data were not updated on time. Incomplete data, that means missing data. Missing data would be something you easily see, right? For example, in this data, I missed for some of the information about some customer or some of the member type. So they don't have the address data, or they may missing for some information about the address number 5. Okay, that's all they missing. Other would be incorrect or inaccurate data. Sometimes, right, you receive some like the data or the answer from your survey that's very ridiculous. Ridiculous là như thế nào? Thầy nói như thế này. Một số ngày giống như trên công ty thầy có nhận thấy một số cái báo cáo về kế toán hoặc là báo cáo liên quan tới bán hàng. Mà thầy thấy mỗi lần như thế thì có hàng mỗi lần mà khi nhập về thì thấy cái lần bán hàng đó giá là 5.000 đồng hoặc là 4.000 đồng. Thầy nhìn là thầy biết cái data nó bị sai. Thì nguyên nhân vì đã cơ bản thì đầu tiên là không có ai bây giờ bán 5.000 xăng hết hoặc 4.000 xăng hết. Cò xăng nó mà bóp 5.000 là bóp một cái là hắn bị trượt nhiều hơn 5.000 rồi. Có thể bán nhưng mà khó. Cái vấn đề thứ hai, thông thường cái nội dung liên quan tới mà bot mà xăng mà bán 4.000 hay 5.000 cái này chắc chắn là do họ nhập lúc mà dữ liệu họ nhập tay á, họ sai là ở chỗ là đáng ra là 40.000 hay 50.000 thì họ đúng thiếu một số không. So that's what people call incorrect data, right? Another one, mọi người nếu nhớ về cái thời kỳ mà mọi người làm data survey đúng không? Thì data survey thì chắc chắn mọi người gặp cái trường hợp rằng là người trả lời câu hỏi của bạn, ví dụ hỏi rằng là bạn làm ơn cho biết chiều cao. Thế chiều cao của bạn khi bạn điền vào thì nó điền vô cho chiều cao 2m7 hoặc chiều cao 1m1 hoặc là chiều cao 80 cm, kiểu như vậy. That's totally incorrect or inaccurate data. Something, right? And inconsistent data too. Inconsistent data will be some of the problem. If you deal with the data about day and time, right? Sometimes you will see that the data will be like in the form of, for this example, this one, okay? This will be the form of the data. So in this data form, okay, if you see, they were saved in like month, right? This will be like February 26th, that should be day, and then year. So the format of this one, actually, that will be what? Month, day, and year, right? However, sometimes all the data, this could be have like 26/04/2012. for example. So they save it in another method, could be called day, month, year, right? And some of the other, they do it other formats like 25, 1, 20, 22. So they will save it in like day, then specs, month, year. And this will be the format for the for like international 2022-20 month, day. Okay. So it should be year, and then month, and then day. Okay. That's going to be very simple. That's going to be very kind of popular if the data in the different formats. That's what the people say, data inconsistent. Okay, that's very popular. If you have the data from different sources, you will have the inconsistency in the data. Okay, let's go straight forward into how to do that one. So, mày đâu? Có muốn nghỉ xíu không? Xíu đấy. Tired?
Break một xíu rồi.
Okay, 10 minutes break, it's okay. Right. So later we will go and talk about the missing data and how we can deal with that one. Okay. Rồi, đi cái đoạn này xong thì thầy sẽ có một số thời gian xíu xíu, nó sẽ từ từ chậm lại để giải quyết các vấn đề về data. Okay. Okay, hello. Let's continue ha. Hôm nay cùng một lúc dạy bay thì thầy có một cuộc họp của FPT AI, thầy cũng đang bật máy. Dạy bay trước đã. Thì họp hành cũng sao. Bật một cái máy khác cho mọi người thấy đang tham gia họp. Alright. Về câu chuyện thì hồi nãy giống như thầy chia sẻ đó, nói chung là liên quan tới data nó ảnh hưởng nhiều thứ. Hồi cơ bản là nếu như hồi đó mà bọn thầy trang bị ở mỗi cửa hàng một cái sensor tổng và gửi dữ liệu data về cloud giống như hiện tại để mà kiểm soát được cái lượng xăng còn tồn ở trong bể thì đã không bị thất thoát 140 khối xăng. Và thoát lúc nào không biết. Đấy là sau là trùng hợp là cái ngày hôm đó xong thì là cái ngày mà kiểm bể. Vì mỗi lần mà chu kỳ mà thay đổi giá xăng thì mình phải kiểm tra bể lần. Thì kiểm bể lần này thì may là có một anh đó là lúc đó mới bổ nhiệm làm trưởng bộ phận bán lẻ, thì anh nó về mới làm mà, anh cũng hăng hái, anh về anh kiểm tra xem bể thử anh có bị gì không á, thì anh phát hiện ra là bị thất thoát chừng nó xăng. Thì đó là một trong những cái chuyện mà nếu như mà không có data hoặc là data nó bị silo á, thì trên data bọn nó cứ viết là dựa trên dữ liệu của 10 ngày trước, thì 10 ngày là sẽ kiểm bể một lần, 10 ngày trước thì báo là không thất thoát, đến 10 ngày sau thì nó trong thất thoát. Vậy trong cái quá trình 10 ngày đó, vì không có một cái real time data tracking mà bọn thầy thất thoát như nó tiền. Đó là bài học nó xương máu, đợt nó xong chửi quá trời quá đất hết. Tổng như đó tất nhiên không ảnh hưởng tới thầy, vì thầy chỉ ảnh hưởng tới chuyện liên quan đến vấn đề tài chính này. Còn cái chuyện liên quan tới bán hàng về kho là chuyện của bên phận khác của kinh doanh. Mà dù sao mình cũng thấy rất là khó chịu, và đó lý do vì sao mà sau đó thì trong vòng mấy tháng sau thầy đã phải nghĩ về chuyện data, gọi là về digital transformation ngay lập tức. That's the point. Okay, let's come back into the class. Thì hồi nãy cái 30 mấy đứa, 35, 36 đứa, bây giờ còn 32, 33 đứa, 32 đứa các bạn. Đây. Bây giờ bắt đầu vô phần chính này. Okay, let's come back. All right. Now, let's deal with some types of problem about mixing data. Okay. You see this one familiar? Anyone? Anyone know what is this one? Anyone what is this one? This will be the time for us to discuss and get some extra credits, okay?
Thầy xem màn hình chưa?
Oh, not yet? Okay, one more. See it? Okay. Anyone know what is this one? What is this? Student? If you want to answer, you can raise your hand, something.
Dạ missing value thầy.
Who was talking?
Dạ em ngưng thầy.
Okay, first of all, what is this?
SPSS.
The SPSS data tab, right? And this will try to demonstrate about the information of all the data inside of the data sets. So what is this in the sum of the dot? We are trying to just focus on. What is that?
The value, the data missing.
The missings. So for the first observation, what will be the data missed? This will be? No? For the first observation, what the data missed?
Cái educt gì thầy?
Educt, maybe the education, something, right?
Yeah.
The second data will be about the W hour. This will be work hour. This will be some of the words you normally can guess. Okay, you can guess like W hour. This will be working hour, salaries, something. Okay, so this data has been missing. Ngân, can you guess what happened and why it's caused for this missing data?
That's maybe because the refusal to answer from the respondent, or like the missing from the tool or broken sensor.
Okay, so actually this one will be the data from a survey, I guess, right? This will be the data from the survey. So the thing will be like, what happened before when you do for the thesis? And did you deal with the missing data too?
Yeah, and fortunately, I don't have missing value in my data.
Well, why you didn't have the missing data?
Yeah, when I do the Google form or questionnaire, I tick on the first question. That means the respondent must be do the answer, then they move on the next question.
Okay, that's good. All right. So that should be one of the way for us to just not have a missing data in the survey, right? By Google Form, we do some restriction about data answer. Only when the people fill in the form, make the answer, they can move into the next answer. Okay, that's good. Thank you so much, Ngang. One extra for you, okay?
Yeah, thank you.
All right. So that's the point. This will be the thing. It's just we are talking about the very simple data of the SPSS and the survey. Thinking about Walmart, Winmart, right? Some of the data about the information of the sales, maybe they don't have all the missing data of some of the observation from 12 into maybe 4 p.m. Now, from like 12 p.m. into like 4 p.m. So in that 4 hours, the sensor has been broken. You think about the QR code sensor scanner, right? They may be broken for that time, and that's why they could not just receive the information. Or some of the case, like Ngang answer, like that could be maybe refusal to answer the question. Some of the answer you got from the survey could be like, I don't want to answer, not want to answer, that's not my job, that's not my business, something like that. Okay, an irrelevant answer for the corresponding object. For example, in some case, if you get some question in, for example, healthcare, right? You ask about like if that's a pregnant, you are pregnant or not, and the people say yes, even when that in terms of gender were a male or a man. Okay, so it's irrelevant attributes when you ask that information for some man. Okay, so how to handle the missing values, that could be the point. So how can you handle the missing values? You can have some kinds of information. First, some kind of solution would be, first of all, if only a few records are missing, the record can be deleted for the following data analysis. Or if too many missing values, you can discard that variable. This will be the easiest way to do, but you may miss lots of valuable information. So what does it mean here? Let's come back into our example here, right? You can see that what could be the problem? What could be the solution? Anyone here in the class can just point out the problem, what the problem this data set have with the missing values. Extra credit. Okay, if anyone want to see this one, maybe I can just post this. Post this data into the class. Okay, if you want. File, new file. I post this one. Cleaning data. Dirty head. No. With the example. Oh, maybe I save it in another one. Ủa, cái data này thì để đâu ta? Ok. What happened? Where did I save it? Not this one. Cleaning data particle. Okay, here. Okay. I send the data file over here so you can practice a little bit with me too if you want to download it. Okay, into Canvas. Let's come back into our data. So anyone here can just answer like what the problem with this data. So can you point out the problem of the data and any solution for this one? You choose to delete the data or not?
Well, I think that because maybe there are some address that we can sum into one group.
So
For example, like address in the country. So it will can solve the problem with the address that missing in some attribute.
Some attribute. For example, what do you think? So first, which attribute have the missing data?
Address file, and also about dues amount.
Dues amount. Address number 3, right? Address number 5 and due amounts. Okay. So here, the people suggest for some kinds of solution to handle the missing data. First you can delete it, or you can imputation, or that means you can use a replacement for the missing value. For that missing value, you can use mean, median, or most of all the attributes to fill in the missing values. Or sometimes you can just do it like implicit values. Like you put it the word like missing and the people know that data is missing. So for this example, what types of solution you will try?
Maybe in the dues amount, I will use min or some kind like that to solve that problem. And can you back to the slide?
Okay. So
well, and also maybe about the address, I will remove the missing place.
okay, you want to remove the missing values. Okay. All right. Thank you so much, Huyền. Yeah, that would be some solution. That's correct for the numerical values. You can do it with the data replacement. Why in the missing value with just highlight categorical data like this, you can just remove it. So let's come first and see about things. Before everything, the question would be like, do you think that the address number 5 will be important?
No.
If that's not important, some of the solution would be like just delete the whole attribute.
The whole.
You can think about like if not relevant, you can think about like remove the whole attribute. That's one of the solution about deletion. In some case, like if the data, if you just meet like with the same attribute, but we just have some missing values only. The thing will be like you can just delete just one single variable, one single content. Okay, something like that. Or if in case like just with the numerical values, you can do it by replace this with the mean values of everything. Okay. Okay, here that's we have the trouble because that's the everything will include itself too. So you don't do that. You first of all measure for the mean. Okay, outside here that's equal to average. of all the data out here. And that should be 263. I can copy it and paste it here. Remember to paste special, just the values only. Okay. The same thing here. You can sometimes consider about instead of mean, you can do it with median. Median will be the data values in the middle of the data set, right? It's larger than 50% low, smaller than 50% high. Okay. So you use the function median to figure out the answer. And you can use 200 to be safe over here. Oh, sorry. That you see, if you paste it like regular, then maybe have some trouble. So remember to pay special to be just the values only. So in this case, the same, right? With this data, for example, this data, even when it's missing for the address number 3, it's also missing the due amounts and most of other information. So in case like this way, this observation cannot help a lot, right? It does not tell any information. So I'm thinking about like just totally delete it. All right. So that should be the way for us to deal with the missing data. Okay. So for missing data, some of the point would be like first, delete. Second, replace it with mean, median, most of the attributes. Okay. Or assume it equal to some estimate. You can other way could be like just put into missing. So one of the thing could be like you can find the plan. Okay. You can find it with this data. And if you are missing of the data, one of the way could be find, select, and go to special, for example, plan. Okay. Click OK, and it could be grabbed out. So with all what could be grabbed out this way, you can put into replace or replace all. Okay, so I would say like you can put in like replace all by missing. Okay, and it have a 42 replacement over here for missing, and you can click OK. So now even when you click one more time, they will no longer, because the 42 missing values had been already put in by the missing label. You good about this? You good about this? Okay, thank you, Han. One extra for you, okay? Let's continue. Okay, thank you. Let's continue. So in that would be the case of like missing value. The second case would be noise and duplicated data. So let's say about duplicated data first, because that would be easier to understand. Duplicated data would be like when the two students have the same student ID, when the two customers have the same customer ID, and all the rest of the information. So that's going to be the major issue when you merge the data from the different sources. Okay, example here, the two of them will be missing. Sorry, for duplicated. So let's come back into the example. Let's over here see would be like when the data have the same two data point, right? Like I already mentioned with you, this is two data point would be like this one and this one. They have the same member IDs, last name, first name, address, due amounts, and the rest of the data. But the thing will be like, I can do it by like just delete case by case, right? But thinking about the thing in the bigger picture, here I just have a 72 observation, and it would be not a good way for me to just deal with a 72,000 observation. If in case that I have a lot of data, right? I cannot just do it by myself, like manually, like that way. So any solution for that one? Yes, we do. If you want to remove the data, okay, if you want to remove the duplicated data, you can have some solution. And one of that one on Excel would be select it all, go into the data, and over here in the data, you can see how one of the option about data tone calls remove the duplicate. Okay. So if you say remove duplicate, until this point, I would say let's select all. That means if the data have the same data, all of this one, okay, all of this information is the same, you will remove it. Okay. Remember, put in that data head and header. If not, they will count everything in the first round too. So don't forget to tick in this box. Maybe you collect yes and say okay. All right, it says that 3 duplicated values had been found and removed. 69 units value remain, not count for any attack, like empty space. Okay, but you can see that from the first like 70 something, right? Observation. Now we just have a few left, and 3 observations with the repeated had been removed. Simple, right? Simple, right? Okay. Next one, noise data, or normally the people calls the outlier. So the noise data will be some of the data seem to have the variant compared to original data. It seems to be abnormal. And what does it mean when it say abnormal? Anyone still remember about the real meaning of variant? Anyone still remember about the real meaning of variant or standard deviation? Đứa nào còn ở đây nhớ được standard deviation nó nghĩa là gì không? Student. Còn đứa nào ở đây nhớ được nghĩa gì của standard deviation nó ý nghĩa là gì không? Okay. Let's do it. Okay. Let's come back into the real meaning of standard deviation. Okay. Standard deviation. Okay. But first, let's say about one of the very old example that normally I would say with you guys. Let me do some rule. Okay. You see it all, right? Okay. So standard deviation, let's say it when we have all the thing of the data. What is this one, student?
Me.
What is? Anyone?
That's me.
That's me. Now this is what the people call the distribution curve. Okay. Distribution curve. It's okay. So standard deviation, we try to just let you know that the data you look will be like that. Or it could be look like this. Or it could look like this. It's okay. So one of the example normally I would say about it would be like, you have to calculate and see about the difference between A and B. For example, A, if you do it for logistic, A and logistic B in your shipping. Anyone still remember about the example? I see it in the FBA class. Okay. No. Okay. In the FBA class, I give the example about shipping. So I have a two logistic A. Normally when they do shipping for me, they say like, we provide very stable service of shipping. So someday we do it like 8 days to finish the shipping, 9 days to finish the shipping, 10 days to finish the shipping, maybe 9 days, 8 days, 10 days, or 11 days. Okay, so that would be the record from our previous shipping time. Another logistic B, this would be the new option. They would say like, we provide very fast shipping option in the world. If you want to ship all the thing from Vietnam into the US on a shipyard, okay, we can do it in just 6 days. Sometimes we do it like 8 days, sometimes like 9 days, sometimes like 10 days, sometimes like 14 days, sometimes like 9 days, sometimes like 12 days. The question would be like, if you are the managers of the company, you want to do shipping, right? Which one you prefer? Which shipping logistic you prefer, A or B? A or B? Anyone?
So
Anyone?
I think
Yep. Doctor,
I think the logistics A
why you
is
think
more
that could be logistic A would be better?
because consider the spread of all the figures. There's more certainties in the logistics A compared to the B.
Mm-hmm. So what would be the spread of the logistic A?
Like compared to the mean, the lowest and the highest is more close to the mean.
10, 11, right? So it appear for 8 like 2 times. It appear like in 9 like 2 times. It appear in like 10 like 2 times and 11 like 1 time, right? And this is quite close to the mean. I'm pretty sure that the mean is somewhere like 9 point something here. I'm not sure, we can calculate later. But it looks like this data will be just distributed like this. The second one, how do you feel about that term?
I mean, the lowest is 6 is quite far from the mean, and the 12 is the same.
14, right?
Yeah.
8, 9, 10, 12. 6, 8, 9, 10, 12. Yeah, 1, 2 time, 1 time, 1 time, 1 time. Okay, so if you create for a chart, it's going to look like this for the data. This will be look like this for the data. And this is the basic idea of how the people create the distribution curve in the two data set. Thank you, Dam. Okay. And the basic idea, thank you, Trump. For next chart for you, okay, Trump. Okay. And the basic idea will be like, you are trying to compare. What the people would say, compare the data variability between the two data sets. And by which standard deviation. Okay, so you see that logistic A and logistic B have the trouble, right? You see that they have some kinds of the thing make you feel uncomfortable about the data, but you don't know how to spread it. The standard deviation. Just use the standard deviation to do that. Oh, I close this data. Okay. Okay. Oh. Yeah, let's see here. Okay, noise data. Okay, so let's come with the example. The first example that we already mentioned about logistic A and logistic B. Okay, logistic A. All the data will be like A, 9, 10, 9, 8, 10, 11. About logistic B, that should be 6, 8, 9, 10, 14, 9, and 12. And the thing we can try to compare the variability between them, we say variability between them would be standard deviation. And that's something you normally do it with your thesis, right? You do and measure for the mean value, the max value, the minimum values, and standard deviation. We never know what exactly they mean. Okay, C about function standard stdev dot s. That will be the function to measure the standard deviation of logistic A. And you can see that the number will be like 1.1. Why the logistic B that's equal to stdev dot s of this one. That should be 2.62. And clearly, logistic B provide the data much vary than the data of logistic B, right? Logistic A, right? So B provide a much vary data than A. And we say that that's the reason why we feel the logistic B seem to be unreliable compared to logistic A. You see the point? Can you see the point? Okay. So when we compare between the two data, how we can know that the standard deviation can happen? So in our previous class, FBA, we have something called empirical rule. And the empirical rule will be quite a symbol in terms of everything. Could be like, if your data follow for a bell curve, I would say normal distribution. From the mean values plus 4, or people normally say could be mu, okay? If the mean value plus 4, one standard deviation, mu will be mean. And standard deviation will be sigma. Sorry for my handwriting. So if from mean you plot 4 and minus for one standard deviation, so your data between this area will occupy for 68% of the data. Okay. And if the mean minus for 2 standard deviation, it will occupy for, okay, let me change the color. From here to here, right? From here to here, that can occupy for 95% of the data. Okay. And if the data seem to be plus for 3 standard deviation and minus for 3 standard deviation, okay, so sure that up to 99.7% of the data will be within this range. Okay. Will be within this range. So that's what the people call empirical rule. So let's say about the data of income. Okay. If you have the survey from the first one into 1,001, and you can measure them like this will be in the million dom, okay, dom. And you have this all the answer something until 20. Some of the answer will be 100. Maybe like somebody at the location 609. Okay. So let's come back. What does it mean here? If your data you can collect and you can measure for the two value mean equal to, for example, 10 million. And standard deviation equal to 1.5 million. What does it mean? It means the data, if I hold over here, right? If that will be 10 over in the middle, mean values. So from here, the mean plot for for the sigma, okay, that's equal to 10 plus for 1.5 and 10 minus for 1.5. That's mean over here we can say 11.5 and 8.5. I would say some of the conclusion. First, 68%, right? 68% of all the data, 68% of people will have income from 8.5 to 10.5 million. And of course, if I extend it into a little bit more, 10 plus for 2 times for 1.5, 10, right? 1.5 here, right? And 10 minus for 2 times for 1.5. That's equal to now set like what? 13. That's equal to now like 7. So we can say 95% of the people will have the income from 7 into 13 million. And lastly, if I do it with the largest, like 3 standard deviation, okay? 10 plus for 3 times for 1.5. That's equal to 14.5. Here would be 10 minus for 3 times for 1.5. That's equal to 5.5. So that's mean 99.72% of all the people we have income between what here 5.5 to 14.5 million. And what does it mean here? This means some guy like having the data 100 million đồng. He will be somewhere what? Over. It may be somewhere over here, right? You feel like this one is weird? This one is abnormal? Right? And that's what we call that one will be. And anyone know?
Outlier.
Yeah, that should be what the people call outlier. An outlier. You see what it means really for the standard deviation. Hồi trước nay bay học, bay có hiểu vì sao phải tính cái standard deviation không? Hồi trước giờ tính toán có phần làm thesis rồi có phải viết standard deviation không? Đừng có hiểu đâu vì sao phải tính.
Làm xong học lại mới hiểu.
Rồi, ngắn gọn lại câu chuyện. Okay, let's get back here. So this will be the reason why we have to calculate for the standard deviations, okay? Now let's come back into our example. I give you an example of this data, and this could be what the people say about standard deviation. An outlier, or we say a noise data, would be something very abnormal compared to the rest of the data, okay? Why the rest, for example, why the rest of the data normally will be within 3 standard deviation from the mean values, okay? That means all the data will be just occupied or run between this range of data. The abnormal data or the outlier will be somewhere beyond the 3 standard deviation, okay? So any data that's beyond with this area, that's beyond this area, okay? Beyond this area will be something called, this will be called, we say normal data. And beyond this one, this will be abnormal. This one, for example, 50, still be an outlier. Okay, something very small, something very low, not just very large, but something very low. Something with just, let's say, just 2 million hộ nghèo nào mà tức là mức độ mà thu nhập chỉ có 2 triệu đồng một tháng. Okay, we can also call this one outlier too. Okay, you see, so it's too small, it's too big, but it's beyond the 3 standard deviation. That means it's beyond 99.9, 99.7% normal data. That's be called outlier. All right. So that would be the way for us to just occupy and understand about the outlier. The same thing, I'm giving you the example between 2 areas. Okay, this will be the example from the class FBA. Actually, if you go and if you feel like uncomfortable about this information, you can all the time come back into the the Canvas and see the videos. Okay, they provide some information very useful. But let's come back here. If I have a 2 data set, actually they pretty the same. For the rest of the data, they are totally the same. I just in for the first 2 rounds with area A and area B for the comparison. Okay, so area A, they have the first 2 observations to be 500 something and 700 something. I change it into 10,000 and 100 for the first data. So now, what could be the problem between area A and B? If you try to measure, you can see that the data, the first data, area A, okay? When you compare it to area B, okay, I should change this one. Okay, you can measure the mean value. Of course, you can measure the standard deviation too. Mean values of A would be averaged from what? Over here, right? B2 into B, 71, because this one have a 71 observation. Okay, if not, just click on this one and then select it until the end. Oh, sorry. Between B2 and B71. Okay, so that's 590 compared to area B. This could be the average in this area from K1, K2 into K71 closest. This would be 700. Okay, I will just make it a little bit smaller. Okay, now let's compare the standard deviation STDEV dot S. Okay, in the B2 into B71 close. That's be just 54. I will make it a little bit less decimal. Over here, standard deviation as of the second area from K2 into K71. 1,128. Okay, so let's compare and see any abnormal. So the normal data range of A. Đâu mọi người hồi nãy bị rớt mạng hay là thầy bị rớt mạng đây này? Alo,
Phải đấy. Ý là nó cũng không có mắc bài bao nhiêu rồi.
alo, mọi người nghe được thầy nói không?
Dạ có.
Ok. Có nghe được đúng không? Ok. Rồi. The normal data range of A would be from what? It would be from what? From the mean, right? Minus for 3 times of the standard deviation. And from here would be like equal to mean plus for 3 times of the standard deviation. Sorry, mean of the A, sorry. That's mean of A plus for 3 times of standard deviation. Okay, so I'm sure that if you scan through No data will be outlier in A. Okay. But if you do it for the data ran for B, okay, let's check it. It should be from mean minus for 3 times of standard deviation. Of course, I'm pretty sure that this is a very small number and we don't have any kind of ran below 0, right? So even this one is not the trouble. Mean plus for 3 times of standard deviation. And it's 4,000. So pretty sure that if you scan through, A would be the data. That's we say. Number 1 will be A outlier. Okay, so you can conclusion like that. And that's the reason why most of the case, when you do it for analysis, okay, when you do it for the analysis, you will try to just create for this thing, right? The descriptive statistic. Select all the data. And then you want to summarize, have the output data over here. I'm sorry, label in the first round. Okay, you will try to just answer for this 2 data. Number, red, sorry, just not number. Delete for the number. Okay, normally you try to just measure for this one, right? About the mean values, about the max values, about the median value, and especially the standard deviation values. They could be play a very important part in your work. It's okay. So that could be the thing. That could be the thing. You're doing well? You're doing well?
Yeah.
Ok Hỷ, như vậy đó là lý do vì sao mà chúng ta hồi nãy nay chúng ta học, chúng ta có cái phần gọi là standard deviation với lại là mean, chứ không phải cái bảng nó làm viết ra xong rồi cho vui nghe. Từ cái bảng đó mình sẽ biết ra được là cái data nào sẽ là noise, là sẽ nào đó là outlier. Ok, anyway là in the second group assignment mọi người sẽ phải làm bài này. Mọi người sẽ phải làm cái second group assignment với cái bài này, mọi người đừng lo. Ok. Right. And let's go very fast for the rest of the class. So, okay, so the rest we will say about data selection. So sometimes the data need to be selected for a subset of data. Doesn't mean you don't use all the data, but you just have the very small set of the data to make the thing accurate. Okay, so you can have the 2 methods. Okay, reason to do for data selection would be like, first, if you want to obtain all the data of the data set, it will be expensive and time consuming. Thinking about like you want to just measure about the information of the income of every Vietnamese people, right? All the Vietnamese person in the world, in Vietnam, that could be take a lot of time. This could be expensive and time consuming. Second, processing. If you have the entire data set, are you sure that you can easy to process it? Not really. So there are 2 major techniques. First of all, sampling. Second of all, feature selection. Okay, feature selection means if you have lots of features, all right, if you have in your data, you have too many variables, you should not use this all because some of the information can be redundant. Some of the information can be irrelevant variable. You can easily remove the student ID, or you can remove the something like, for example, the citizen ID, right? Số chứng minh nhân dân, số căn cước công dân, thường là những cái dữ liệu mà nó không có phục vụ cho việc nghiên cứu. Rất ít đi. Yeah. Bây giờ thì có lẽ vì số căn cước công dân bây giờ thì nó dựa trên số căn cước mình có thể tính ra được là một số cái đầu số thì là người đó là sinh năm mấy, rồi người đó là ở tỉnh nào á, thì cũng được. Nhưng mà còn lại thì nó không ý nghĩa lắm. Phần lớn là trên trường hợp là không ý nghĩa lắm. The second way would be beside the feature selection, right? That's what you see. You learn about PCA. PCA mean Principal Component Analysis. Mấy đứa nhớ học cái này không? Mấy đứa nhớ học cái này không? Cái này còn nhớ không? Học đã này. Cái nào đi làm hồi làm thesis có làm cái mà cái gì đó PCA rồi cái gì đó mà dimension reduction. That mean dimension reduction. That mean in a loss of variable, you can drop some of the variable that's not relevant. Okay. Cái chuyện mà PCA thì nó đơn giản, nghĩa là khi mà bạn làm ví dụ như 30 cái item thì trong đó có thể là chỉ cần 20 item là được rồi, thì mình sẽ dùng cái phương pháp PCA để drop bớt 10 cái item irrelevant hoặc là nó không cần thiết, hoặc là thực tế là trong đó item số 10 với số 11 nó gần giống nhau thì dùng item số 10 là được rồi, không dùng item số 11. Thì đó là cái ý nghĩa của PCA nha. Thì trong machine learning sau này nếu như những ai học mà sâu hơn data science đó thì nó sẽ có một cái phần gọi là dimension reduction. Những cái tập data business của mình thường cái số lượng variable của mình nhỏ, khoảng tầm 10 mấy, 20, 30 cái là nhiều rồi. Nhưng mà những cái variable của cái số lượng variable của những cái tập data về healthcare chẳng hạn, thường tới mấy trăm cái variable. Mà ngoại trừ là nó có mấy triệu dòng đơn vị, mấy triệu dòng dữ liệu thì nó có mấy trăm cái variable. Thì trong mấy trăm variable nó có thể mình chỉ lọc lại còn 50 cái variable dùng được thôi, hoặc là 30 variable hay 20 variable. Thì nó là những cái phương pháp sử dụng gọi là feature selection, PCA. Okay, and the last one will be sampling. Sampling will be the way for us to just, instead of using the whole population, we just use the same very small sample, right? This will be what I already discussed and say in the previous class, the FBA, but I want to just demonstrate it one last time about why the people do that. So sometimes people may feel like it will be inconvenient for to just use all the data. Okay, if you are lazy about collect all the data, this will be the time to do for sampling. So the basic idea of the sample will be like to answer some question about the income of the Vietnamese. Right? So you have the two options. The first option, collect data of the whole population. What does it mean? You have to collect the data of approximately 100 million people, all the Vietnamese, right? That means here, all the data of the population must be collected. All the Vietnamese in the north, in the south, in the Paris, in the cities, the urban, or right even like in the remote area, you have to collect all of them, all the data. The second option would be to just select a sample of maybe 10,000 people only. And that would be another option. Why I say that? So if you do it for the sample, you will have quite a small one. Now, instead of select everybody, you just select some of them. Might be have the representative feature of the data. Okay, so maybe like over here, I would select just 4 people from this one. Okay, so that will be the first one. You choose to select 100 million people. Or you can choose to select just 10,000 people. All right. The thing will be like after that. Okay, the thing will be like after that. You can measure some information. Like for example, the mean of this population. And you see that this will be like the information about the income, right? This means that you collect the data from the first one, second one, until 100 million one. All the data about income. 10, 12, something, 20. And you got finally, this will be 10.1 million. Okay. Standard deviation could be like 1 million. Compared to the case, you select for all the sample and you have the mean of the sample. Maybe it will be not perfect to be 10.1, but it could be like 10. Standard deviation could be like 1.05 million. So this 10.1 in realities and just 10 million you can calculate from the sample. It's very close, right? But by just select 10,000 people, you can save time. Because that instead of 100 million, now you just have to select 10,000 people had the representative features of the population. So sure, that you can say time. You can say effort. And of course, you can say money. And that's why the people do sampling. You got it? And that could be the one of the main methods that people do for data selection. Sampling. I provide here a lot of information about how the people do for sampling. You can go and see about the information, how will be the different types of sampling, and you can choose about like do it in. You can read and talk about that in the quiz. But basically, that should be how the people do for the data selection. Any problem, student? Any problem, student? A lot of information, right? For today. All right. Come back into the story. So about missing data, about noise data, that means outlier. Data integration, there will be all the things will be practiced and have the demonstration on Canvas. So next week, I mean, like you can start reading or watching the video about instruction on the part 1 to part 4 of the data. The data has been provided here too. Okay, the data has been provided here too. You can practice on the data that I provide and watch the video. But that's to be served for the next group assignment. Okay, the homework number 2. Homework number 2 instruction has not been posted yet, because I make some modification in the data and also for the requirement. So please don't use the answer of the previous group of the previous years, okay? That's going to be no longer valid. But I will post the question soon and also the data soon for you to just start for your group assignment. But basically, they will help you to identify these data problem, like missing values, like how to handle the problem, duplicate values, noise data, and how you select the data. Okay, so don't worry, they will be provided state by state, and you'll be good about this step. So in this section, this model, we mainly stick with Excel. Trong tuần này thì thầy đã hướng dẫn về phần gọi là nội dung về mặt lý thuyết của cái phần data preparation và data integration nha. Về mặt thực hành, chúng ta có 4 video thầy đã tạo ra và các bạn sẽ đi theo 4 video này. Kết hợp với lại những cái video nếu bạn muốn coi thêm, những phần coi thêm này nó cũng rất là hữu ích. Nó sẽ giúp bạn làm được bài tập nhóm. Thì bạn sẽ làm được cái bài tập the second group assignment này. Thì second group assignment này chúng ta sẽ tập trung chủ yếu vào Excel. Vì Excel, anyway, nó vẫn là một công cụ rất mạnh để các bạn giải quyết được những vấn đề về data cleaning. Còn lại, khi mà lên advanced hơn thì người ta sẽ dùng những cái công cụ khác như là Python, và Power BI hay là R, thì những cái đó nó rất là advanced. Thì cái này sau này khi các bạn làm, các bạn có đi thực tập và các bạn tùy vào doanh nghiệp, họ sẽ sử dụng cái công cụ về data cleaning và data grappling khác nhau. Nên thầy không dùng một công cụ nào chung. công cụ mà thường người ta dùng nhất đối với lại các data tại Việt Nam vậy Excel. Mọi người hiểu hình dung không? Cho nên lý do vì sao mà trong tuần này, tuần trước chúng ta học SQL, tuần này chúng ta sẽ học Excel. Tuần sau chúng ta sẽ không có official class, chúng ta sẽ có video instruction vậy thôi. Mà các bạn có một tuần để các bạn làm bài tập nhóm số 2. That's good. That's good. Okay. The next class, the class later, I mean like the model number 4, will be about data visualization. And in this class, we will do it with Excel and Tableau. I will post the instruction about how to. Thầy đã nhận được một cái email từ Tableau rồi. Tableau đã cho thầy cái, để thầy tìm lại xem thầy cái email ở trên trường. Tableau. Thì Tableau nó đã gửi cho thầy một cái student license. Và đây là cái email thầy nhận được mười mấy ngày trước. Họ cung cấp cho chúng ta free cái Tableau desktop. Các bạn có thể download nó. Các bạn có thể sử dụng cái code này. Đây là cái student code cho lớp này nha. Khi các bạn đăng ký thì các bạn nhớ điền vào email sinh viên của các bạn. Và các bạn như sinh viên VNUK nghe, log.edu nha. Và thứ hai nữa là các bạn chép cái code này vào trong cái phần mềm Tableau để cài trên máy các bạn. Các bạn làm đối với lại practice trong tuần tiếp theo, tuần nữa. Được chưa? Trong tuần này thì chúng ta sẽ tập trung vào Excel. Và có rất nhiều tools trong chờ các bạn. Thầy cũng đã post lên cái hướng dẫn làm sao để cài phần mềm á, ở trong phần module 0 ở đây rồi. Nó sẽ có phần Analytics Software used for our class 2023. Và mọi người có thể tham khảo theo cái đường link này để xem thử là các đường, cái code hồi nãy đúng không? Cái code về cái student license hồi nãy nó ở đâu? Nó sẽ có trong đó. Any question? Problem? Today? Any question? Yeah? No.
Maybe not.
Maybe not. It's okay. I wait for later. It's okay. Right. Anyone have the extra credit today? Let me know. I will just put in some. Just ensure. All right. Who got the extra?
Bất huyền một.
Bất Huyền 1. The second. Who that?
Kim Ngân.
Kim Ngân.
Yeah.
Kim Ngân Bất Huyền biết đấy hả? Who the other?
Ngọc Trâm 1 thầy.
Okay, no problem. Good. It's okay. I remember this one guy has like make contribution or something. Oh no, that's another class. Okay, just 3 of you, right? Okay. Thank you so much. I will try to stop the recording from here.